one thing first, if you're watching this on my personal Facebook page, know that I am going to be broadcasting these to my personal page for maybe a couple times every month or so. And then all of these trainings are going to be in my private community, which is a Facebook group. You are welcome to join it if you would like. It's called Leaders Developing High Performance Teams. And the link should be in the comments. If not, I will drop it, or not in the comments, in the description. And if not, I will put it in the description of this video. So, all right, so number one, let's talk about why this even matters. So the problem is that when you build a team, and as an entrepreneur, what you really need are people on your team who think strategically, okay? And they've got to solve problems for you. And no one can out hustle a bad mindset, okay? So we talk about how important, I talk about how important having a strategy is, right? A plan for how you're going to get to where you want to go in the most effective way. But even if you have a plan for how to get there and you don't have a great mindset, guess what? Things don't go super awesome. Okay, so we cannot out hustle a bad mindset. Okay, your mindset, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold. Mindset will speed things up for you, or it will slow you down, and it's doing one or the other. So ask yourself this question right now. Maybe drop it in the comments. Is your mindset right now speeding things up for you, or is it holding you back? Is it slowing things down? Okay, because if it is, we just want to take that and flip it. We want to get things to a good place. Okay. Now, when your team is focused on the wrong things, or if even you are focused on the wrong things, it's going to stunt your growth. There's actually a lot of opportunity cost that goes into not being focused on the right thing, because not only are you doing the wrong thing, you're not doing the right thing, okay? And that can really slow us down. So when we have our team members, we want to develop them. We want to get them thinking strategically. So number one, we want them thinking like, is this thing I'm about to do, is it even a priority? Should I even be doing this in the first place? We don't want people who are just doing and not thinking about it. We want to make sure they're thinking, wait a minute, how does what I'm doing tie to the result that we're looking to create? Because there are infinite things that we could be doing, but there are only a handful of things that you should be doing if you want the results you're going after, okay? The other question that we want our people to be asking is, who might be able to help me do this faster? Okay, so when we're thinking strategically, we're thinking about how can we close the gap from where we are to where we want to be even faster. Okay, and a third question is, how can I simplify this or get it off of my plate? Okay. And then the last one, why are we experiencing this problem in the first place? Like, what can something be done so that I don't ever have to spend time on solving this problem ever again? Okay. So those are four really great questions that I want you and your team to be thinking about, because those things are going to help you get more done and accelerate to your goals a lot faster. Okay. All right. So in order for us to solve this problem of, maybe not being focused on the right thing or not having a great mindset, what we're going to do is we're going to develop an affluent mindset. Okay. Now, you probably are wondering, like, okay, what do you mean by affluent mindset? And here's what I want to say about that. I'm not going to cover it too extensively, but here's what I've seen. I personally believe that affluence is not just a number in a bank account, right? It's not just a level of wealth or financial abundance that somebody has. I think affluence can be represented by that. However, I also think that affluence is a mindset. It's a way of thinking about things and resources and opportunities in a way that allows you to get to your goal faster. Okay. So, in my opinion, anybody can learn an affluent mindset. All right. And part of an affluent mindset is looking at who, not how. Okay. So I think I can't remember the guy's name, but from Strategic Coach, this is the first place I ever heard this, was the idea of who, not how. So when you're looking to get things done in your business, you can go do them all, right? Like, let's just take not even business. If we just take an example from our daily life, like I could grow all my own food. I could sew all my own clothes. I could figure out how to build a car and go build a car so I have transportation. Guess what? I don't want to do all of those things, right? That would be really, really slow for me. Plus, I would probably do a really crappy job at like sewing my own clothes. So, what do? I hire someone to do that for me. And you know who I hire? I hire like Target for my groceries or Costco for my groceries or, Tesla for my car. And so we look for who can support us in getting to our results faster. All right? So that's part of an affluent mindset. All right? So let's talk about the benefits of developing an affluent mindset and particularly developing your teams. So, number one, there's five things. So, number one is that sales are easier. Okay. When you are in an affluent mindset, the affluent are focused on relationships and having a quality relationship and real trust that's built. So, your team can be building relationships with clients, and your team is building great relationships in sales. Okay. So, as the CEO of your business, your job is to build big relationships, right? You're building partnerships, or you're building relationships with big high end clients or potentially with vendors. Okay. We want your team building relationships too. We just want your team maybe building different relationships and having, great customer service, having a connection with your clients, getting feedback from them so that you can pivot and change and make your programs, services, products better. Okay, those are really important and help you make sales easier because when you are serving your client and really staying focused on what their needs are, you're able to re-enroll people or come up with new products and services that serve the same market in a different way. Okay. The other thing about having an affluent mindset is that you start to have a plutonic relationship with sales. All right. So this is kind of nuanced. So I want you to listen to this. A lot of people have a problem with sales. A lot of people feel like sales is totally gross and icky, and they think of the used car salesman and they feel like they're being pushy or disingenuous. And all of that is gross. It's totally gross. And I don't like any of it. Okay, but when you're doing sales the affluent way, you have a plutonic relationship with the sale because it's not about the sale. What it's about is building a real relationship with a human being, finding out what problems do they have? What are they frustrated with? And what would they like to have instead? Okay. And can you be that vehicle that takes them from where they are to where they want to be and overcome that problem that they've got and get them to that destination, that solution that they desire? Okay. So it becomes about matching qualified buyers with the services that they need and want. So if you go build a relationship and you're like, this person doesn't really need what I have, or this person isn't really qualified, then it becomes less about trying to force that to happen because it's just not going to happen if it's not a match. And it becomes more about a real relationship with somebody and saying, hey, you know what? We're not a great match, but like, you're fabulous. I like you. Why don't you go work with my friend? Or, hey, why don't you not spend your money with us because that would be a waste? Like, those are great things that can come out of having a sales conversation because not the point of sales isn't just to like sell everybody, it's to sell to the right people. Okay. And it also makes it so that your sales team isn't focused on being good enough, right? Or maybe even you feel like, oh, am I good enough? Can I do this? Well, it's not about that, right? It's about matching buyers, qualified buyers with services that they need and want. All right. So the number one thing about developing your team's affluent mindset is sales become easier. The number two thing is that your people are more effective. Okay. So let's think about this: an employee mindset versus an owner's mindset. Okay. So the employee, you've probably walked into a place and you've asked for help, and they're like, I don't know. I just work here. And you're like, are you kidding me? Can you just take it one step further and like think about it a little bit, maybe? Right. So we do not want people saying, I don't know. I just work here. Like, just tell me what to do because I don't know. Right. I don't think that would be a very fun way to. I don't want a job like that. I don't know. I don't know many people who want jobs like that, right? And we don't want service like that. That's not very good service. So owners, they know well, sorry, let me go back. Employees are thinking time equals money, right? They're like, I don't know, I just work here. Like, I'm just here to get my paycheck. Owners know that value equals money. Okay. So there's a big difference. Value is in the eye of the beholder. Okay. So if I were, here's an example of that. If I were to say to a brand new entrepreneur who is getting their business off the ground and they're so excited and they're like, okay, I need a logo, right? And they go find someone and someone does a logo for $100. And then they find another person and they do a logo for $1 million. Who do you think that person is going to choose? They're going to choose the person that does $100, right? Because that's what it's worth to them, right? Maybe it's worth more, but in this case, we'll call it $100. Okay, what if Nike decided that they wanted to completely rebrand and change their logo? Do you think Nike would choose the $100 logo person or the $1 million logo person? Well, their logo is extremely valuable. They have a lot of brand equity. And if they're going to make a change, they're going to want to make sure that it is done right. And so the person who's charging $1 million is probably got a lot better, higher quality than the person who's charging $100. Okay. So owners understand that value is what translates into money. And when we can teach our teams this, we can teach them that it's about providing value and service to the right people, not just showing up and existing as a butt in a seat. Okay, that's not super helpful for me. Like, I have people who work for me and they are not just a warm body. I need them doing things, I need them getting results. Okay, so people are more effective when they have an affluent mindset. All right, number 3, you, the business owner, are happier. Okay, when you have team who shows up and they're like, I'm all in, I got this, I got it, no problem, I'm gonna take care of that for you, don't even worry about it. How good does that feel when they're like, no problem, I'll just handle that? You're like, thank you, I'll pay you a bonus, right? Okay, so you're happier because your people are solving problems and they're handling issues. Okay, they're taking ownership and they're producing results. All right. Now that leads really good, really well, really goodly, whatever the word is, into number 4. Okay. When you have an affluent team, everybody works less. Okay. You can work less and get better results. That's because you are valuing results, not the effort. Okay. So if someone is working for me and they are working, say, 20 hours a week, and I need them to get a certain result done, and they don't get it done, but let's say they're like, it took them 30 hours. They're like, "Hey, I got it done, but it took me 30 hours." And then I hire somebody else and I say, "Okay, go get this result." And they get it done in 20 hours. Who do you think I'm happier with? I'm happier with the person who can get me results faster. Okay. So when you focus on results, it becomes not about the effort. And sometimes what happens with people is they get so caught up on the effort. Oh, but I worked all night and I'm so burnt out and I just stayed up late and I drank all this coffee and like, I'm working so hard. And you're like, okay, but are you working smart? Because in my organization, I don't want people who are just working hard. I want people who are working smart. And kind of those questions I said at the beginning, there's those 4 questions. We want people thinking about those 4 things. I'm just going to pop back up. I'm going to say those 4 questions one more time because I do think they're important. So we want our teams thinking about this. Should this be a priority in the first place? Who might be able to help me do this faster? Can I simplify or get this off my plate? And why are we experiencing this problem in the first place? Okay, so those are just a little bit of a bonus 4 questions that you can be using and teaching your team members. Okay, all right. So when your team has an affluent mindset, not only do they value results, not just the effort, but they waste less time. Okay, so there's a Forbes article, and I can share that below, that says that 21% of people reported that they waste 5 hours a week. So an hour a day, they're just like doing whatever, right? 29% are wasting 2 hours a week. Why? Okay, here's the 3 reasons, the biggest 3 reasons why people waste time at work. Number 1, they're not challenged. Number 2, their hours are too long. Can you believe that? And number three, they have no incentive to work harder. All right. So I have a friend, I met him at a mastermind event in Austin, and his name, well, actually, I'm not going to say his name. We will call him my friend. And he's actually sold it since then, but he had a software company, is making $20 million annually. And he was like the real 4-hour work week guy. Okay. Now, it did not take overnight for him to get to a place where he could truly work 4 hours a week in his business. All right. So I am not propagating any crazy stuff like that. However, he talked to me about how he structured his business so that the benefits and the compensation aligned to incentivize the results that his team members got him. Okay, so what's important about this, everybody works less, is that we are aligning the incentives that we give our team members to the results that they produce because it's all about that. If you can get me results in an hour, I'm going to value that a lot more than if you get me those results in 100 hours. Okay? That's just how that's the affluent mindset at work right there. Okay, number 5, the last one is everybody makes more money. Okay? So when you have an affluent mindset, it's actually easier to attract higher end clientele. And higher end clientele are a lot easier to work with. They're less picky. They don't need handholding. They respect you and value your time. And there's better margins when you work with a higher end client. Okay, so that's pretty simple. So let's go through those 5 things again. The 5 benefits are number 1, sales are easier. Number 2, your people are more effective. Number 3, you are happier. Number 4, everybody can work less. And number 5, everybody can make more. So let me know, which of these things was most surprising to you? Which of these things do you have a question about? And I would be happy to address that. Now, if any of you want to message me personally, this is my phone number. So this is my new text message number. You can send me a text. It will literally come right to my phone, and I will text you back, and we can have a great conversation about developing your team's affluent mindset, about your own mindset, and about how you can get better results faster in your organization by implementing the things that we talked about today. So, all right. I hope you have an awesome day. I will see you next week for another training. And till then,